Hello guys, a very good morning to all of you. So guys, we're doing this chapter of accounting for bills of exchange. And guys, in the previous class, we had completed the discussion on the accounting treatment of renewal of the bill and the retiring of the bill under rebate. So guys, today we'll be heading towards a new concept, and that is accommodation of bill. So guys, let's understand what accommodation of bill is all about. It is a document in writing drawn by one person, accepted by another person, with the intention to help one or both the parties involved without a genuine business transaction. Very interesting case, guys. Let's understand this. So this is A and B. A has sold goods on credit basis to B, and along with that, he is giving a bills of exchange which B has to accept it and give it back to A. And B has accepted the bill, guys. He has accepted the bill, and he has given that bills of exchange back to A. So guys, this kind of arrangement is called as trading of bill. Trading of a bill is a case which happens in a normal business transaction where A is giving goods, he is giving goods to B, and in consideration, B is giving the bills of exchange. If you see a normal scenario, guys, if I have to break down into number of parts, normally what happens is, guys, if this is A and this is B, so A is selling goods to B and B is paying cash. This is a normal cash transaction. Another scenario is where A is selling goods to B and B is not having the money to pay immediately. So he is saying that I'll make the payment on a different date, on a later date. So this is a credit transaction where the transaction is kind of unsecured. And there's a third nature of transaction where A is giving goods to B and B is buying those goods on credit. But this time A wants to play safe. He wants to play safe. He wants to be secured. So he's telling B, please execute a bills of exchange. So A is sending the bills of exchange and B is accepting it, giving it back. So all these three scenario, guys, all this three scenario is a normal trade transaction, normal business transaction. And more particularly, if I talk about case number 3, this is a normal business transaction and this is called as a trading of bill. Trading of bill means what? A bill is executed for a genuine business transaction. And what is a business transaction? The goods has been transferred. This is what we've been discussing so far. But in accommodation of bill, what happens is, guys, A is not giving any goods, is not selling any goods to B, but he is sending a bills of exchange. He is sending a bills of exchange to B, to which B is agreeing and accepting to pay. Now the question arises here is that why is B accepting the bill? Guys, accepting of bill by B indicates that B is taking a liability to make the payment to A in future. Why would B do that when he is not got into any transaction with A? A is neither receiving any service from, B is neither receiving service from A, neither getting any goods from A. So why the hell is he, undertaking an obligation or liability to pay? It is only the sole purpose is that he wants to help A. Maybe A and B are two close friends, very close friends, or maybe they are close relatives. And A is in need of money. A is in need of money. A is in need of money. So he's requesting B that, BB, I will draw a bills of exchange in your name. You accept it and give it back. Then what will A do with that? A will go to the bank and get that money discounted. Let's suppose the bill value is for, let's suppose A is in need of, let's suppose 20,000 rupees. Let's suppose A is in need of 20,000 rupees. So he's drawing a bill of, let's suppose 21,000 rupees in favor of B, to which B is accepting and giving it back. Now A is not keeping the bill with him. He is giving the bill to bank for discounting, and banker is giving 20,000 rupees back. Why? Because the 1,000 rupees bank is charging as their discounting charges. Guys, A is in need of 20,000 rupees. He is smartly given a bill of 21,000 rupees. He knew that the banker will, take up some discounting charges. So what did he do? He gave a bill of 21,000 rupees. So 1,000 rupees is gone to bill as discounting charges, and as required, he's got this 20,000 rupees. Now you may ask a question that, okay, he has, taken the money from the bank by of discounting, that's fine. But on the due date, B is supposed to make the payment, no? And why would B make the payment on behalf of A when he's not received any goods and services? Why? Because A would have told B privately that, B, this bill is for 3 months, okay? On the maturity date and due date, trust me, this 20,000 rupees what I've got from bank, I will give it to you in cash. I will give this money to you in cash, 20,000 rupees, or I'll give it to you in a bank, 20,000 rupees. You give it to bank. Now the question arises that why is A doing all this? Why? Because guys, A is in urgent need of money. He wants urgently a money. So how can he went to bank for bank loan. Bank has rejected the bank loan. He tried everywhere, every possible way, taking a loan of 20,000 rupees, but nobody helped A. So A got an idea. A is a chartered accountant. He is very much aware of the concept of bills of exchange. So suddenly, idea struck his mind. He said that I'll do one thing. I'll approach one of my close friend and close relative who trust me, and that is B. So he said B that BB, I will draw a bills of exchange of 21,000 rupees in your name. You accept it and give it back. I will take that bill, go to the bank, and get this 20,000 rupees discounted. And this 20,000 rupees, guys, A was in urgent need of money in his business, so he enjoyed that money. And later, in order to ensure that B is not in trouble, because B has to make the payment. Now, where will B get the money? B has went in out of the way to help A. B also does not have money. So what A did is A to ensure that B is secured. So on the due date, A has given this 20,000 rupees back to B. So there's a time gap of 3 months, guys. So in business, it's all give and take within that period of time, right? So after 3 months, B has maybe done some good business and he's got that money back and he gave to B, and B has happily settled this money to bank. So if you look at the entire transaction, guys, nowhere between A and B there is any goods or services being exchanged. So the ultimate purpose and the pure intention of executing a bill of exchange here is to help one person or help both of them. So I've done a case where, guys, there are 3 cases under bills of exchange where the accommodation is done for the drawer. We did case 1 now. Accommodation means helping. You're helping whom? The drawer. Drawer in case is A. So case 1 we discussed. Case 2, what happens is help is done. Accommodation is done for both drawer and the drawing. Now what happens here is, second case is, guys, A is not selling any goods to B. A is not selling any goods to B, okay? But he's still giving a bills of exchange to B for, let's suppose, 21,000 rupees. To which B is also accepting and is giving the bills of exchange back after acceptance. Now, why is B doing here, guys? Here in this case, this is not a case only where A wants the money. Now here, both A and B wanted money. Both of them wanted, guys, 10,000 each. They had their personal commitments of 10,000 each. So both of them went to a lot of people asking for help, but nobody helped them. So A was a chartered accountant, so he knew the concept of bills of exchange. So he gave this idea to B. He's telling that, B, let's do one thing. I will draw a bills of exchange in your name for 21,000 rupees. You accept it and give it back. B is saying, are you 21,000 rupees? If I accept, I have to pay. He's saying, wait. 21,000 rupees, you accept and give it back. I will take this 21,000 worth bill, go to the bank and get it discounted for 20,000 rupees. Now, when this money comes to A says that I will keep the 50% of money with me and balance 50%, you keep it. So this way, guys, it is a help that is done by A to B and B to A. So help is happening for both the parties. In the previous case, guys, B was doing help for A only. Now, in this case, A is doing help to B and B is doing help to A. So this is called as concept of accommodation, where they're trying to help each other. Now the question that arises is that on the due date or the maturity date, now B has to make the payment of how much rupees? 20,000 rupees. In that 10,000 rupees, he has enjoyed the money, no? So he will pay from his pocket. And 10,000 rupees, which A has enjoyed, A will give that money to B on cash or in some way or the other. And B will settle this 10,000 rupees to the banker on the due date. This is accommodation of bills. Guys, are you clear with case 1 and case 2? If I come back to the theory again, guys, let's understand. It says that accommodation of bill is nothing but a document in writing. So bills of exchange is always in writing, which is drawn by one person. A is drawn this bill. In our case, A is drawn this bill and accepted by another person who is B, with the intention to help one party means A, or both parties means both A and B, who are involved in this transaction without any genuine business transaction. There is no business transaction genuinely taking place, but still a help is being happened either to the party who's drawn or to both the parties. This is accommodation of bill, guys. I've discussed with you, out of 3 cases, I've discussed 2 cases with you, 1 and 2. So far, till whatever I discussed, guys, do you have any doubts? Guys, do you have any doubts?
No, sir.
Are you able to understand the flavor of accommodation of bill? Nandini,
Yes,
Pratiksha, Priyanka,
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Shruti,
sir.
Lakshana. Great. Now,
Yes,
guys,
sir.
the third case, what happens is accommodation of bill drawn on each other. Now, what happens is that A is not selling any goods to the party B, but is executing a bills of exchange in favor of B, to which B is accepted and give it back. Now, why did B accept? Because A and B both were in need of 10,000 rupees. So they understood this concept of bills of exchange. So what B did is B accepted and gave it back to A, and A went to bank and got it discounted. He got 20,000 rupees. And out of this 20,000 will come to A, guys, obviously, because A is carrying the bills of exchange. No? So 20,000 is with A. Now what A is doing, A is keeping 10,000 with him. That is the 50% of the bill he's keeping with him. And remaining 50% is giving to B. Tell me, guys, on the maturity date, who will make the payment to whom? On the date of maturity, who will make the payment to whom?
B to bank.
B will have to make the payment to the bank. On the due date or the maturity date, B has to make the payment to bank. What money? How much is the price?
20,000, sir.
Let's suppose the bill drawn is 20,000 rupees, 21,000 rupees. Okay, so 1,000 bank has kept it, 20 we've got it. So to the bank, we have to pay how much? Bank we have to pay how much? 21,000 rupees. In this 21,000 rupees, guys, 21,000 rupees. In previous example, also same thing applied. I took 20 here in the previous case. So please keep in mind, this is not 20, it is 21. Now, guys, in this 20,000 rupees, if I have to talk B's share and A's share is, can I say 10,000, the amount what they've enjoyed, and 500 interest, 500 interest. So total, total, can I say 10,500, 10,500? So in this portion, guys, this portion, B will make the payment because he has enjoyed this 10,000 rupees. So the corresponding interest he'll pay, no problem. But on the maturity date, what if A is not giving this 10,500 rupees to B?
Sir,
Yes, boss.
so can you explain that interest part, sir?
Very simple, Kana. So here 21,000 rupees is the bill drawn. A has drawn a bill on B for 21,000 and B has given the acceptance. Now when A goes to the bank, how much will the money banker give? Can I say 20,000 rupees?
Yes, sir.
1,000 rupees is an interest expense. Is it an interest expense only for A? Is A
No,
enjoying the entire money? No. So can I say this interest also A and B has to equally split it?
Yes, sir.
So if I say technically 10,000 B has enjoyed and his corresponding interest is 500, A has technically enjoyed the remaining 50% of the amount and corresponding interest is 500. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So on the due date, B has to pay 21,000, no? Because banker will get 21,000 from B, he gave 20,000 to A. So difference amount 1,000 banker should enjoy, no? So banker is enjoying this 1,000 rupees when B will make the payment to the banker.
Okay.
Until B makes the payment to the banker will not enjoy that money, no? Banker is given 20,000 only. Where did he get money? Only when he receives the money, 21,000 rupees from the B, only then you can say that banker has enjoyed the 1,000 rupees. Correct? Now on the
Yes,
maturity date, B has to make the payment. So 10,500, B is telling, okay, I'll make the payment. And on that day, B is calling A and A is not picking up the call. He's called him 10 times, no response. B has gone to A's house. A's house is locked. Then finally A took up the phone. He's saying that, my dear friend, I'm really sorry, I don't have the money. Now what will be the position of B? Now guys, B is held responsible. B is held responsible to make the payment. Of course, banker, when giving this 20,000 rupees, banker would have said that if B is not making the payment, I'll get it from you. That is a different story. But the fact of the matter here is A is unable to make the payment. So now what is happening is, now A will draw bills of exchange. Now B will draw a bill of exchange on A on the value of 10,500 plus the discounting charges. So another person is drawing a bills of exchange. So this is an interesting question. I would not want to explain too much in the concept now because it will not go into your mind. Because when I explain with the numbers, you will find it more interesting. All I want to explain here is that in the case number 3, guys, accommodation of bills drawn on each other. That is, bill is being drawn on each other. First, A will draw on B, then B will draw on A. Now, why B is drawing bill on A? I think I will, probably able to explain you in detail with complete clarity when I take a practical question. So as of now, just remember that in case 3, A will draw a bill on B and B will draw a bill on A. In detail, why and what if, what not, everything will be discussed when we do the practical question. So guys, are you getting a outline, just outline clarity about case 1, case 2 and case 3? Are you able to get
Yes.
the essence of the concept of accommodation of bill?
Yes, sir.
So I'll do one thing, guys. Let me take up case 1 and we'll just discuss illustration 1 today. It says that B accepts a bill drawn by A for his accommodation on 1st Jan 2020 for 5,000 rupees at 3 months. Tell me, guys, who is the drawer and who is the drawee?
A drawer and B drawee.
Yes, A is drawer and B is drawee because he's accepting it. Tell me, guys, who is being helped here? Who is the person who's getting accommodated here? His means whom? A or B?
A.
Because A is the person who's drawing the bill. So he's the person who's going to receive the bill money. So he's the person who's going to receive the help. So the bill was drawn on 1st Jan 2020 for 5,000 rupees, guys. And the term of bill is 3 months. The bill is discounted for 4,900 rupees on 4th Jan 2020. Of course, the difference between 5,000 and 4,900, can I say the 100 rupees is the discounting charges? You gave a bill worth 5,000 to bank and banker has given you 4,900. So remaining 100 is discounting charges. On the due date, guys, A sent a check to B. Why? Because, guys, A has drawn a bill on B and B has accepted and given it back. And A discounted the money from the banker. So A has enjoyed this money. Now on the maturity date, B has to make the payment. From where will B make the payment? Unless and until A makes the payment to B, how will B make the payment? B does not have money. So on the due date, A sent a check to B. A sent a check to B to meet the bill. So he's sending the check. Now B has got the sufficient money. Now since he has got sufficient money, B duly honored his acceptance, which means what? He gave this money to banker. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. These are the 5 steps. First, bill of exchange is being sent to B. Then it is accepted. Then it is discounted. Then A is giving money to B and B is giving money to the banker. Now, guys, pass necessary journal entries in the books of both A and B. In the books of A, journal entries. Date, particulars, LF, debit rupees, credit rupees. Now, guys, I told you this is the first transaction. A is sending the bill to B. When bill is being sent, guys, bill is sent along with the goods. In this, is there any goods that is being sent by A to B? Please tell me. Are we sending any goods from A to B? No. But only bills of exchange is going. So normally, guys, in step 1, you record the journal entry when only the goods is being sent or goods is sold And what is the entry for goods that is being sold? It will be B, that is debtor account debit to sales. But here guys, we will not record this entry because I'm not selling any goods. And along with the goods, normally we send bills of exchange. For sending the bills of exchange, do we record any journal entry? No. Only when the acceptance of bill is done, that time we record journal entry. Now tell me guys, when the bill is accepted, what will be the journal entry? On 1st Jan 2020, bill has been accepted. What will be the journal entry? Now guys, you need to remember in mind, you don't have to buy out anything. When you do the accommodation of bill, you have to remember, just keep in back of the mind, had the goods been sold, what would have been the entry? B, debit to sales. Now, when we accept the bill, what happens? We close this by giving a debit and a bills receivable is created. So same entry will pass here, bills receivable, because bills is accepted and the asset is coming inside the business to the tune of 5,000 rupees. To the tune of 5,000 rupees. And guys, to B, 5,000 rupees. Guys, you will understand why bills receivable account is debited, because 5,000 worth asset is coming inside the business. It is assets of 5,000 debit. B credit here indicates here, this money what is coming to me, I have the obligation to pay that money back to B. So anything which I have to pay that in future is a liability. So we created one asset, we created one liability. Guys, this 5,000 rupees, A is enjoying it for a shorter period. He has to give that money back to B. So since he's getting a bills receivable asset, he's creating an asset. To create asset as per modern approach, we have to debit it. To increase the asset, we have to debit it. And at the same time, guys, this money is not my money. It is not my income. Rather, it is money which I have to repay back in future. So if I need to remember to pay this money back in future, I need to create a liability. So that's what we did. To B's account, I've done a liability of 5,000 rupees. Any problem in this? Yes, any discomfort in this journal entry?
No, sir.
Now, what is happening, guys? On 4th of January, bill is getting discounted. So when the bill is getting discounted, guys, what will be the journal entry in the books of A? A is discounting, guys. A is discounting. So this entry we recorded. Let me change the color of the pen. Guys, no entry for this. First one, no entry. For second one, when the bill is accepted, we pass the entry. Now that we are passing the third entry, when the bill is being discounted. Guys, what will be the entry when bill is being discounted? Who will get the money? Who will get money? A will get the money. So we are recording in books of A. So bank account debit. How much money will bank get? Sorry, how much money will A get from the bank?
4,900.
4,900. What is the bill worth which you have given to the bank?
5,000.
5,000 worth asset is gone out, but you're getting only 4,900. What happens to remaining 100?
Discounting charges.
Discounting charges. Account debit. It is an expense for A. So debit all expense and losses. So bank account debit 4,900. Discounting charges 100. Two bills receivable 5,000 rupees. So this is my second transaction date. Then what happens, guys? On the due date. What is the due date, guys? Please calculate the due date. 1st Jan plus 3 months. Feb, March, April. April 1st plus 3 grace days. 2, 3, 4. Can I say 4th April is the due date?
Yes, sir.
On the due date, A is giving a check to B so that B can make the payment to the banker. So on 4th of April, guys, A is giving the check. So can I say to bank? How much money will A give to B? 4,900 or 5,000 rupees?
5,000.
5,000, because the liability is 5,000, no? So 5,000. And B's liability. Now, guys, since you made the payment to B, now we have to close B's account. B's liability 5,000 will be closed. So this is the journal entry on the due date. Now, guys, B is duly honoring the acceptance. Will I record this entry in my books? Am I concerned about this statement in my books of accounts?
No, sir.
Not at all. So we are done with these 3 entries, guys. We are done with these 3 entries. Now, please check if you have closed all the assets and liabilities. So bills receivable, guys, technically at the end of this question, the asset should have been closed. So let's see. Bills receivable, debit 5,000, credit 5,000, closed. Okay. B's account is also supposed to be closed. Let's see if it is closed. B, well, there is a liability of 5,000, which has been closed here. This no problem, this no problem, and this no problem. Okay. So guys, this is the entry. Any problem in this? Comfortable, not comfortable?
Comfortable, sir.
Guys, initially to give you a comfort, I'm trying to give you easy questions because as you proceed by, there could be a lot of complications. You know, there are these three cases. These three cases like are again subdivided into two cases further. So total 6 cases. Where in this case, what if the bill is honored and what if the bill is not honored? In this case, what if the bill is that payment drawer gives to drawee, and what if the payment is not given by the drawer to the drawee? So there are multiple complications involved. So we'll slowly increase the complication of the cases. So I'm going with the easy ones now. So we have done with A so far, guys. Now let's do it for the B in the books of B. In the books of B, journal entries, date, particulars, ledger folio, debit rupees, credit rupees. Guys, the format is very important. So please do not miss out on the format. Now, guys, if I come in the order of the question, as long as B is concerned, guys, what will be the first entry that B will record? He has not received any goods, so he cannot record any purchase entry. But he has accepted the goods. So can I say he'll record the acceptance entry? So on 1st Jan 2020, on 1st Jan 2020, what is the journal entry for the acceptance of the bill? Guys, B is undertaking to pay the bills payable. So can I say it will be 2 bills payable? Is it 2 bills payable? Because B is undertaking a liability. So can I say 2 bills payable 5,000 rupees?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Tell me, guys, is this 5,000 really a liability of B? Did B enjoy any worth of goods for this 5,000 rupees?
No, sir.
Can I say he's doing this to support A? He's expecting that, he's supporting, A now by, accepting the bills of exchange with the hope that on the maturity date, A will make the payment to me. So the hope is that A will make the payment to me in future. So I need to record the hope. What is hope here? I will receive money from A. So A account debit 5,000 rupees, 2 bills payable. If you remember, guys, in the normal case also, when the goods has been sold by A to B, the first entry is purchase to A. Then we reverse A to bills payable. That is the entry. No difference. In the normal case, what happens? Purchase to creditor, purchase to A. Then you reverse the creditor A and do bills payable. That is the same entry. There's no need to buy hard, guys. Here the perspective is different. Here A is asset because we expect to receive the money in future. Asset is something what you own, or asset is something what you expect to receive in future. So here you're expecting this 5,000 rupees to come to you in future. So 5,000 you'll receive in future. Once you receive this money, you'll make the payment to the banker in future. So this is the first entry. Now, guys, after the acceptance of the bill, A is going and getting it discounted from the bank. Do we need to record any entry for this? Guys, for
No, sir.
discounting, do we need to any record entry in B? No. So forget this. Then what is happening? Guys, you have to come in the sequence of the question. So this kind of diagram, if you draw it in the rough column, you will find it very comfortable. Then what is happening? A is paying the money to B. B is receiving the check. Guys, A sent a check to B to meet the bill, to honor the bill. So guys, can I say now this transaction is concerned on the due date? The due date is 4th of April, guys. On the 4th of April, B is receiving the money, check. So bank account debit 5,000 rupees. And the moment he's received the money, guys, can I say the asset needs to be closed? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So what will be the entry? Bank account debit to A. 5,000 rupees. Money is received, account is closed. So technically, guys, A account is closed by giving a debit and a corresponding credit. Now, guys, bills payable is still not closed. I need to close this. So as soon as the money is received, guys, what will the B do on the due date? Can I say he'll run to bank and settle the bills payable? So he will close the bills payable by making the payment. So bills payable account debit to bank 5,000, 5,000. Yes, if you know the sequence and the concept, you will never make any mistakes. Even if you have any doubt as to what to debit and what to credit, you can still make it out by yourself. The problem will happen only with those students who think of by hearting these kind of entries, because if you by heart, my dear friends, my question to you is, until where will you by heart? Because the question I can tweak in different ways, and depending on the twist what I'm giving, the journal entry can keep on changing. So by hearting is not the solution in accounts. Always conceptual study is the key way to success. So here guys, bills payable credit is knocked off. This is the entry that we'll record in the books of B, guys. Any problem, any confusions in this? Please tell me.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
So guys, we have done a very small illustrations, which is, if you can see, it is pertaining from case 1. So we have a couple of more questions to do. Probably next 2 classes, guys, we should be completing the concept of accommodation of bill. So as we go by, the concept can get little bit, tricky. So guys, you have to do a complete revision of this bills of exchange so far, whatever I've taught it. Please understand the concept, and at heart and at soul, you should be able to know why this journal entry is being passed. I hope none of you are by hearting this. I've laid a very strong foundation for all of you for the journal entry, for ledgers and all the basic stuffs. So with that, I really hope that you are completely prepared in doing all the complicated transactions in your CA foundations. So guys, all of you feeling comfortable so far with whatever has been taken?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So guys, I'll put an end to the class here. I'll again meet you all in the next class, where we'll be discussing the furthermore illustrations or further questions from the ICA study material. And in next 2 classes, we'll be done with this chapter. So guys, I'll see you all in next class. Until then, bye-bye. See you. Take care. So guys, if you've liked this video, please do subscribe my YouTube channel. The name is ca.pratikjain.yes. So guys, show some love, and definitely I'll get a lot of videos on this channel very soon. Thank you so much, guys. Bye-bye.